Hi everyone, this is Clara Duran-Reed with the Duran-Reed firm, and I am so excited because today you are going to be hearing from preeminent attorney Debbie Keesey. Now, Debbie has been working as an attorney for about 26 years. In the last 20 years, she's been in estate planning. She comes from UC Berkeley, where she got a degree in business. And then later on, she graduated from Cornell Law School, and she grew up in Torrance. Her specialties are in estate planning, trust, will contests, probates, and conservatorships. She's real busy, and she is part of the Torrance Memorial Medical Center's professional advisory group, the healthcare and elder law programs of Torrance, which I was happy to be a part of as well. And she's a chair-elect for the Los Angeles Bar Association's Trust and Estate Executive Committee. And she's the president-elect of the South Bay Bar Association. So, Debbie, you have so much amazing background, and I am so happy that you made the time to be able to join us today. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was Prop 19. So we all know there's been a lot of controversy with Prop 19 and how it was going to amend Prop 13 regarding our property taxes. Mm-hmm. So if you could touch upon some of the changes that are now occurring as a result of Prop 19, that would be terrific.
Right, so I'll just start with an overview. So Prop 13, right, essentially allowed a homeowner to keep their property taxes low because it would be limited to the value, the base value of the purchase price. That's the cost basis for the property tax assessments. It would go up, it would be about 1.5%-ish. And what then went with the Prop 13 was the Prop 58, which allows a parent to transfer to their child their property tax basis by allowing the child to inherit the house. So even if, the house was worth $100,000 at the time that the parent purchased the house, but at the time of the transfer to the child, the house had appreciated, say over 25, 30 years, the house is now worth $1 million. The child could file something called Proposition 58, which is known as a parent-child exclusion from reassessment of property taxes. And that would allow the child to keep the original parent's property tax basis.
Right, so, because like, say for example, if today they were to get a property that's $1 million, they'd be paying about 1.25%, somewhere around there. So they would be assessed based on that $1 million property. But that's with the parents, if they had a lower, say if they had purchased their home at about 100,000, when it was transferred, even though the value was at $1 million, the kids would still be able to get the tax assessed value at 100,000 instead of $1 million.
That's right. And at the transfer date, the child, for capital gains tax purposes, is getting a step up in basis for capital gains tax purposes. So if the child acquires a property and it's worth $1 million, even though their property tax basis is the parent's original property tax, if they turned around and sold the property tomorrow, there would be zero capital gains, because their capital gains cost basis is that market value that they're turning around to sell the property at. So, California was really, even though property prices were very high, you're getting both the benefit of this parent-child exclusion from reassessment and the step up in basis.
Right, and that's why, and there were a lot of groups trying to get rid of that, and a lot of people who wanted to keep it. So tell us what happened with Prop 19, because it passed by a very slim margin.
Very slim margin. So Prop 19 basically gets rid of Proposition 58. So that parent-child exclusion is highly restricted. Prop 19 did two other things. It also expanded the rules for the homeowners age 55 and older, and disabled homeowners and natural disaster victims.
Right.
But yeah, that hasn't been so much the focus now. So yeah, it virtually eliminated the parent-child exclusion and the extension of the over 55 base year transfer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, how that works, because right now they can still get some tax, the kids can still get a tax benefit. And by the way, this takes place on
February 16th.
February 16th, and that is a holiday. And so the day before, so everyone really has to get their paperwork and everything in by February 12th. It needs to be recorded by February 12th.
Yeah, and we're actually encouraging everyone to do it well before then, because if you're going to do the transfer, we think a lot of people are trying to do this at the same time, and the recorder's office is going to get pretty jammed up.
Yes.
So the safest thing is to do it as early as possible.
Right. And do you still have time to help people right now?
Yeah, so on an expedited basis, but it's going to be really tight. So
wow. Yeah. Okay, great. So we'll definitely include your information in here, because people need to talk to you ASAP.
Right.
Okay, so tell us right now what happens with the kids. So let's say February 16th comes and goes, and now there's a transfer of the property or a sale of the property to the child. Now what happens? Now what do they get? What kind of a benefit can they get? What kind of different tax assessments are there?
Right. So if the transfer occurs after February 16th, if the child is going to make that parent's property, the parent's property was their principal residence, and the child is also going to make it their principal residence, there's still some benefit. They will get to keep this first $1 million at the same tax basis as the parents, and then anything over that $1 million is going to be reassessed. So that tax rate, the tax rate that they're ultimately paying, will be a blended rate.
So that doesn't include the income properties, right? So right now we're just talking about the principal residence.
Right. Okay. Investment properties would not get any benefit from Prop 19, like a parent-child exclusion. Wow. No more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now it's just a maximum. So how would they, let's say the house was purchased at 100,000. Today it's valued at $1 million, or let's say 2 million. Okay. Just because of the South Bay, there's a big fluctuation in pricing. So if it was at 100,000 and then now it's 2 million, what would the taxes look like? How would we figure those out?
Right. So you would take that 2 million, subtract off the 100,000. That's an original basis. And so the first million of that, so the first million after the 100,000 is taken off, it will be the same tax rate if it's a principal residence, the same tax rate as a parent's was. Okay. So then the other 900,000 is going to be reassessed at the new rate. So that 900,000 will get the 1.25% tax basis, and then they will blend it together. So that plus the original, whatever it was for the parents. So not so bad, right? So that first $1 million is still at that $100,000 basis that the parents had.
Okay. Yeah. And then again, the income properties can't do that.
Totally reassessed.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, what if they decide to move? So previously, the people aged 55 and older could transfer their tax base to another home if it was the same or less value, but only in 10 counties. So what is it now?
Yes, right. And I think they could only do it once. Yes. Now I think they can do it 3 times. They can move, 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 and it can be a property. It doesn't have to be equal or lesser value. It can be greater value, but the amount, so for the amount that is the same value, so say they had $1 million house, they move into a $2 million house. The first 1 million of that new house will stay at their original tax base, but the amount over that original, the next million, gets reassessed. So
Okay.
yeah,
So they get a little bit of a benefit. So it sounds like that first million is what's key in both sections
yeah,
of Prop 19, both for the kids and then for the homeowners themselves.
right,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So
And now they can do it 3 times, you said, right?
and they can do it 3 times, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And so I was going to add, so one way that people are trying to deal with Prop 19 right before February 5th, 16th, sorry, is to transfer, if they decide, so the calculus, the thing that people should be thinking about, should I hurry up and try to beat Prop 19 by making this transfer to my child, is you're looking at whether the benefit of keeping that low tax basis outweighs the step up in basis that the child would have gotten if they had waited to acquire the property upon the parent's death, right?
Right. So how do you figure that out?
There are some online calculators actually. But so every situation is going to be unique, right? Because you have a different tax basis, you have different ages of parents and health conditions, and whether the child thinks once they have the property, will they hold it? Will they sell it? Will they live in it? So, you know, I think there's a lot of things in play that is going to be unique and people need to think about.
Right.
So,
So
yeah,
it's not just like one solution, right?
right, right,
Right.
definitely.
Right.
And there are some advanced estate planners out there who are using another instrument to try to get the best of both worlds. These are they're called the intentionally defective grantor trust, IDGITs for short. And so what this instrument does is it preserves both the Proposition 58, so you keep your lower tax basis. If you do the transfer before February 16th, you create this irrevocable trust.
Okay.
And in this instrument, there's something that is included, a provision called a general power of appointment. And the Internal Revenue Code, the IRS, looks at this general power of appointment as the grantor keeping some control so that for gift tax purposes, this is an incompleted gift. So that means that until the grantor, the parent, actually passes, the gift is not complete. So that only upon the grantor's passing, the parent's passing, then you have a completed gift. And at that time, the child can also get the step up in basis.
Oh, very interesting. So is that a little bit like a life estate, like granting the parents a life estate? Something similar to that.
A little bit, yes, yes. The downside to this is you don't have a lot of time to do it, but also, you know, these plans, these irrevocable trusts, they can, you know, be $12,000, $13,000 to set up.
Okay.
So I don't do them personally, but I refer them to colleagues who do them.
Okay. So you do have a way to be able to help people regardless.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And actually, you know, even if it is 12 or 13,000, if you take a look at the potential savings, I mean, that might just be 1 year of taxes. Right. I mean, if you look at it that way.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What if the kids are put onto the children are put onto Title Now? How would that work? Would that help them at all?
So if they do it before February 16th, they'll get to, and they file the Proposition 58, they'll get to preserve the property tax basis that their parents had. Okay, but then they're missing whatever appreciation there would have been between the transfer date and say their parent actually lives another 10, 15 years and the property appreciates another, you know, $500,000. So they're going to miss out on that $500,000 step up in basis. And they're going to pay capital gains taxes if they don't hold the property and they sell it.
Oh, so at some point when they transfer that property, even if they do all their paperwork before our deadline in February, they would still not have that step up in basis. Is that right?
Right. They'll have the step up in basis
Oh, they
only
will.
to the date of transfer. So I'm sure there is still some benefit, but not as much as if they waited and their parents, guaranteed, well, we're going to live another, 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
And property does appreciate.
Oh, I know.
Usually it does, but yeah.
No, in California, I think over the last 50 years, the average is about 7.3 overall.
Oh, it's great.
7.3% yearly, which is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's really better than stocks. And I know
Right.
some people are going to say you're wrong, but the truth is, I mean, if you take your investment of, let's just say 10% down, let's say $100,000 down on $1 million property, you're getting 7.5 or whatever the rate is over the entire amount, not just on your investment.
Right.
Whereas with stocks, if you put that $10,000 in, or 100,000, whatever it is, you're only going to get the money, or you're going to get a return only on that amount, not on anything bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why so many people get into real estate. And
Right.
for everyone out there who's looking, we can certainly help you. Debbie and I can certainly help you and provide you with information on whether it's really a good idea for you to do anything at this point, or if it is, you're planning.
Yeah, well, it's so great though that Clara, you are in real estate now, but you have this great attorney legal background in the legal mind to help your clients in all these ways.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Debbie is an awesome guide. She has worked for a number of my clients, and so we definitely highly recommend her. So if you want to get in touch with Debbie, her information is going to be at the end of the video. And of course, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to help and always here for you. Debbie, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And good luck with everything in 2021. I know you're going to be really busy this year, especially with all the changes in the laws.
Okay.
Thanks again,
Thank
Debbie.
you. Thanks, Clara.